This is a good crystal ball, if you want to call it that, into the future of the Challengers and the Chargers. And this is where scams really occur. It always bothers me when the vulnerable and the weak are taken advantage of. Welcome to Rip Roaring Garage. I'm Alex, and I hope you have a rip-roaring week. So let's get back to our roots. A lot of us have Hemis, and a lot of us love the Hemis, love the V8, rear-wheel drive, and the power. Now, we can't talk about Hemis without giving a nod to the cars that came ahead of it. Obviously, you have the big cars of the late 60s and 70s, right? But in modern terms, the Chevy Impala or the Caprice, 96 is when they cut that car. But the truth is, when it comes to modern cars and the modern car enthusiast, you don't get the Hemi Charger without talking about Panther platforms. And that includes the least favorite Panther, the Grand Marquis. Mercury Grand Marquis, also known as Grandma. Typical car for, let's say, the older generation. We're not even talking boomers. These are the World War II guys. They love these things. And a lot of younger kids, myself included, love them as well. Many of you guys know of the Crown Vic Sport project, my first brand new car. But the Grand Marquis basically was a chance, an opportunity to buy for Shop Mom. I wanted a car that's reliable, that's safe, and cheap. Those of you guys that watch know that I mentioned this car last time. $3,000. They are getting up in price though. In my search on Craigslist, Marketplace and whatnot, there have been a lot of these going up in value. Some of you might be asking,
I'm a Hemi guy. Why are you talking about some old grandma's car?
There's two reasons. And a lot of you guys know on this channel, I'll start off with one topic and like The Simpsons, midway through, I'll change into something like, wait, what?
What?
Bear with me because it's all connected and it's all going to help you. Back in the early 2000s and the teens, I guess we're calling them, 2010s and whatnot, CrownVic.net forum was the biggest car forum online. If you were into cars, chances are you were into a town car, Crown Vic, or a Marquis, be it the Crown Vic Sport or the Mercury Marauder. This was before internet.
What?
Before channels like what I'm doing now existed or were a thing. You went online, you asked your questions, you did your thing, you found parts, you found repairs and whatnot. Why is this relevant? Because 10 years from now, when these cars are gone, the Challengers, the Chargers, what are we gonna do with them? A lot of guys are gonna be getting the new Banshee, and a parenthesis here. I finally realized why the Banshee pisses me off, because the name Banshee was the name John DeLorean wanted to use for a Pontiac Corvette, their version of the Corvette. It was supposed to be the Pontiac Banshee. Come on, Dodge, at least use something that's in your bucket. Don't go into GM's bucket.
This is a bucket.
Dear God.
There's more.
No.
Looking at these cars now, the way they're appreciating or depreciating, which ones to get, which ones not to get, is a really good indicator of what's going to happen with our Hemis. The other thing is, as I bought this car and I started digging into it, I realized something. If you're into cars and have family members that are not into cars, please, it's your responsibility to make sure that this never happens. Let me tell you a story. One of these things is not like the other. Come closer now. Inside. So I bought this car from a gentleman whose father passed away. It was his father's car. He loved it. After he passed away, his mother started driving it. Saw the little damage on the, bumper, and he was concerned. So, Mom, you're done. Luckily, my shop mom can still rock this car pretty well. Along the line, he had lost one of the original Ford Key FOBs. Anybody that's had a Ford knows this style. It has like a 2022, a CR 2022 battery in it. Very simple. They work. What do you do if you lose one? He went into a shop and they lied to him. This is how you end up with this thing. Most non-car people already know that reprogramming keys costs a lot of money. When you talk about modern cars, you need dedicated equipment. You need to amortize that. So when they're told that, oh yeah, it's going to be 800 bucks. Gasp. Is there any alternative? And that's when the unscrupulous repair shop will say, yes, there is. We're going to solve this custom alarm system with motion detectors and custom remote and this and that and blah, blah, blah. And you end up with this. What's the big deal? People like to mod cars. Yeah, but here's the thing. You end up with this. Mother of God. An absolute nightmare of spaghetti. What I found was that they half wired it. And this is where scams really occur. No shop is just gonna bill you for something that you can verify that, dude, you said it was 10 hours and there's nothing, it's stock. When you look at this, it's like, yeah, they did work. They wired all sorts of stuff. They put in, the connectors and whatnot. You'll get things like this where, person will see like, yeah, okay, cool. Look at this little module, fancy. As a side note, this actually uses the original key that goes inside this little chamber. I already took it out. The key sticks out, and the reason they do this is because there's a chip. Now you're keeping a key in the car at all times. I don't like it. If somebody was to steal this car, all they got to do is yank this out, and now they got the key with the car. No hot wiring, no messing it up. This is what happens. Now, yes, you can also say this is part of mission creep. I was just trying to replace a couple of little things here and there for this car to make it nice and clean. And next thing I know, I'm knee deep in the dashboard, and now door panels have to come off, and everything's happening. But that's a different topic. But this older gentleman, this older guy, got ripped off. I don't know how much labor was involved in all this. Like, they had an ignition wire that was literally just looped around, here. That was it. This was supposedly closing and opening a contact for the key. Come on. They just went through the motions. And you know what the kicker is? The kicker is, to replace this, it's the easiest thing in the world. You can get an original Ford one for about 30 bucks or the Amazon knockoffs for 5 bucks. They work. I wouldn't, because I like the buttons to not fade. You don't need equipment to reprogram it. The car will do it itself. You just put the key in the ignition, cycle it, accessories off, accessory off, accessory off. If you do that, depends. Some years 4 times, some years 8 times. You got to do it real quick. All of a sudden, doors lock, unlock, and now it's in program mode. You just push any button on all the fobs you want associated with the car. You're done. 30 seconds to get a new FOB reprogrammed. I don't know what the book says for 30 seconds of labor, but I'm pretty sure it ain't 10 hours worth of putting in a system. Not to mention, they had to convince him to buy a new key because one of the keys had to go in the car. So here's this guy that's, was taken for a ride for something he didn't need. And much like AI in our society, that is creeping in and it's everywhere. This system pretty much hits on all the interior stuff. We're talking door locks, we're talking windows, we're talking horn, we're talking parking brake. There's wires going everywhere. But unlike AI, at least I was able to find a manual. So if you're going to be gutting something, going back to stock, like many cars after a certain age, when their value is greater, the closer they are to original, clean and all that, many more people will end up needing this kind of information. The diagrams, wiring, color coding, what each one does. While I don't need to understand how it works, what I do need to know is what it contains. So I can follow each little wire. And maybe if you guys want to see me do some of that, I'll show you some of the tools I use to track down what wire goes where. Even if it goes to all sorts of places, trunk is my biggest concern. That's not normal. Reading through their instructions, you'll see like here, there is a wire that they tell you to cut, go into the door actuator. And I so happen to have a door lock that doesn't work. But for those of us that have family members that still operate these cars, and it doesn't have to be collector potential or enthusiast potential, but you want to protect your family because family is still important. I know I say oil is thicker than blood. That doesn't mean blood isn't important. And we protect our own. If you know somebody that's about to get work done, put your nose in. You're supposed to. Maybe that's a, Romanian or Italian or whatever thing. We always like to, what you doing there? Let me see, Do a little bit of that, especially when it comes to cars. And the other connection is that this is a good crystal ball, if you want to call it that, into the future of the Challengers and the Chargers, especially with electronics, especially with aftermarket stuff. I did talk last time about those alarms, the car ID or whatever the hell it's called. What I would recommend anybody that has those systems, get schematics. If the company doesn't offer them, don't buy it. Go with something else. If you don't have documentation for yourself, it's going to bite you later on. What's going to happen is you might sell this car 10, 15, 20 years down the line. And somebody's going to say, yeah, it's a shame. You have a nice clean Challenger here, but I'm not going to spend, you know, $5,000 or probably with inflation, $50 million to remove all the guts you put in. But if you got this, you can do that pre-sale, or you can say, look, buddy, you want to keep it, you can keep it, or here's the schematics to remove it. I just thought this was very important. We got to protect our own. Just like I'm trying to get this car to be clean. I want mom to feel like this is a brand new car. We're close. This car was very clean. There's no rust. Engine, transmission, drivetrain, it drives almost perfectly. Just has some weird things that were done because somebody thought, cha-ching, I'm going to take advantage of an old man. That pisses me off. It always bothers me when the vulnerable and the weak are taken advantage of. So that's all I got for today. I got work to do. I'm hoping this gave you a little bit of insight as to what to expect when it comes to our Hemis in the future. Start stocking up on parts if you can. Of course, if you plan on keeping them for ever. It's never a bad idea to get certain parts that are consumables. Bumpers will probably be the biggest thing. I'm talking from experience of having my Crown Vic since it was new and knowing the consumable things that not just break. That's the brand new car mentality. And what breaks, what do I need to have on hand? Think about it, what you won't be able to find. The hardest thing will be bumpers, chin spoilers, things that get mangled up, crashed up, damaged by tow trucks. Those are things I would recommend buying if you plan on keeping these cars like pristine, beautiful.
A big, beautiful, powerful car.
You can have 150 miles like on my car. One time you hit a bump the wrong way, and it's 10 years from now, Dodge is making go-karts, all EV, and then you, my friend, are boned. Or you take a loss on the value of the car. Let me know in the comments what you think. Let me know how many of you guys still rock the Crown Vics, Grand Marquis, and the town cars. I'd like to know what kind of cars you also have, not just the Hemis. Like I said in the last video, the true descendant of the Crown Vic is not anything Ford makes, but it's those cars. The same people that used to buy these, we just migrated to that. And now once these are gone, I'm curious to see what we'll buy in the future. If we'll buy anything in the future and we end up being the 80-year-old that drives a Grand Marquis and becomes the meme of the 2000s. So I'm Alex, this is Reprogramming Garage, where oil is thicker than blood, Hemi alike, and have a rip-roaring weekend. Welcome to Reprogramming Garage. I'm Alex. Hope, am I in the shot? Like completely head and all?
You are ahead.
Of course I dropped a good one. But for those of us... Really? Oh, it pushed it inside of my pocket. That's gonna be a blooper. Or 4.6 me alike. See, it doesn't work. Still. Okay, no, that's dumb. That's going to be at the end. Now, excuse me while I go have my spaghetti and meatballs. I'm the meatball.